Welcome back, y'all, and happy Thursday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, we're going to jump inside the film room and compare the 2022 offensive play calling to 2024. I'm doing this because right now there are so many just terrible false narratives about Tennessee's offense being floated around out there by some of our fans, but I think most of it's coming from outsiders, and they're going based off of the TV copy. You can't really tell what the heck's going on with that. So I'm going to show you the all 22 copy. Okay, we're going to look at plays in sequence, in order, and I'm also kind of frustrated with people saying, hey, this quarterback can't process, that quarterback can't process. You're going to see exactly what they're looking at. The offense really has taken some steps back in terms of how the plays are being called. But the good news for us as Tennessee fans is I feel like in 2025, the play calling is going to go back to what it looked like in 2022. And really, 2022 would almost be Tennessee's base because we're adding some more on top of it. So with all that being said, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to do our best not to break down this stuff too much, but obviously we will be starting off with Tennessee versus Arkansas in 2024. Like I said, we're only going to do the first half of this game. And the reason for that is it would take me forever to go through a full game. But trust me when I tell you, this is how Tennessee's offense looked most of the time. The only game that we saw extra wrinkles kind of being thrown in there was versus UGA. Everybody else, this is how the offense looked. So you're going to see, I'd say between 80 to 85% of the play call in 2024, it's straight vertical stuff. So it's either going deep or it's a comeback, or like there's a dig. There's not a lot of crossing routes and drags and slants, and there's just not too much of that. Okay, so this is the first play. This is a 1st and 10. And what we're going to see is a sprint out here. Now, we do have some vertical stuff to it, which is perfectly fine. The ball is actually going to that deep comeback on the right side, but we also have a crossing pattern coming from the left side. So everything's moving one way. We're going to see some misdirection and things like that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let this thing roll. Go ahead and jump into it. And I also want to show you this. There's a difference in the way that that defenses have been playing Tennessee's offense here recently, right? So in 2024, most defenses gave us this sort of a look where we have 4 deep. That's the 4 players highlighted in red. So with Tennessee's offense, like we talked about, like to go vertical for the most part. Obviously, we're going to stretch you out wide with our splits, and here the splits aren't terribly wide, which I also love that. But we're going to try to stretch you out wide with those splits and then stretch you out vertically. So what teams figured out is to slow down Tennessee's offense. You can just play this 4 deep look, and because we operate off of the option routes, they know that the underneath stuff has to come. You would much rather let your guys come up and make tackles instead of having to try to catch up to somebody that's running past them. But what this does mean for Tennessee's offense, whenever we're running things that's so straight up and down, is that number one, the wide receivers are going to have to be really, really fast to get behind this coverage. The offensive line has got to be stout to hold up and give the quarterback enough time to make these throws. And the quarterback has to have a very strong and accurate arm down the field because he's going to be having to throw over people's heads. And, the easiest way to do this would be off of like a 3-step drop. But again, you need so much talent to be able to do it just off of the 3-step drop. So a lot of times you have to hold on to the football longer. All right. So also the other part of this is that right there in purple, we've got a nickel back and we don't know what he's doing. Is he going to be playing coverage? Is he going to be blitzing? And then you can look at the box. The box is light, or it's a lighter box. It's only 5 inside of the box. So what Tennessee does is we're going to spread you out. We're going to see how does the box look. If the box is light, we're going to try to run. If there's favorable numbers for us on the outside, then we're going to pass it. It's pretty simple. But what you'll also notice is, as this play gets to going, there's movement, right? So now that nickelback, he stepped into the box, and you're also going to see. Let me go ahead and highlight this for you. You're also going to see this safety. He's going to step down into the box as well. So what does this do? It makes it difficult for the quarterbacks, for the offense to read the options to see where do I want to go here, because you're getting some funky look that most teams don't see. All right. Now, like I said, if you mix some wrinkles in here, like on this play with some crossing patterns, moving the field to one side, it's a lot easier. And obviously, I'm gonna go back to this one. Watch this, right? So Nico rolls out. There's only one player that's open right here. It's Dante Thornton, right? So Dante is open here, and Nico just flicks his wrist, and he's able to make this throw. Oh, my bad. One too many of those. So Nico's able to flick his wrist and make this throw. Okay, so this is elite arm talent. This is what we needed last season. Okay, I don't think that we're going to need that as much coming up in 2025. So this next play, this is a wide receiver quick screen on a 2nd and 16, 2nd and long. And Tennessee does a ton of this, right? I mean, it's going to be going to the right, it looks like, to squirrel. But Tennessee does a whole lot of this. It's part of our offense. We did it in 2024 as well. We have trips to the field side, spreading things out, and boom, boom, boom. Actually, this is off of an RPO, right? So this is a run pass option. I don't really have to go too far to that, right? We all know how that looks. So this next play, this looks like this is a 3rd and long, right? So this is a 3rd and long. And on this play, we're going to have two wide receivers, the two outside wide receivers, they're going to be blocking. So there's some type of a miscommunication between the wide receivers and the quarterback. I'm not quite sure who that's on, but I would have to anticipate, since this is a 3rd and long, it's probably on the wide receivers. They got the wrong signal or something. The only player that's actually going to do the correct thing is going to be Squirrel White in the slot. He's the only player that's going to be going out on a route, I should say. So we got the tight end motion in, definitely like that. He's coming in to help us block. So now you can see where Squirrel is. Squirrel's the only guy that's actually running a route, but what are these other guys doing? They have their backs turned to the quarterback. The pocket is starting to close in on them. This is what he's looking at. It's not that people aren't able to process. It's that there's nothing for them to do. There's no place for them to go. So, let's just make sure that we can see that part of it. And I think that Nico does a good job here making people miss and all of that. Obviously, he does get sacked. But, I definitely put that more on maybe the play calling, but, there's some sort of a miscommunication there. So either way, on this next one, this is just vertical stuff. We have the backside dig on that left side. We've got like a little curl route right there, or like a hitch coming from the tight end Kitzelman. And then on the right side, we've got Squirrel on a comeback. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let this thing roll. This is a 2nd and 7, so that y'all can see how this thing looks. So boom, fake the handoff there. We have one player that's open. The pass is on time. Really not a whole lot to talk about here, right? Okay, so there's one player that is open. Obviously, the pocket is still closing in on Nico. Like we said, the offensive line really didn't play well in this game by any means. Just keep in mind that Lance Hurd, I think, had just come back from having like a month off, and he was way out of shape. It sounds like he was dealing with some injuries and things like that. But Nico didn't really have too much time. And this is not about Nico, so don't take it like this is, I'm not trying to, boost up Nico or anything like that. I'm talking about Tennessee's offensive scheme and how it can get better. So this right here, this is a wide receiver quick screen going to the right side. This is a 2nd and 6. Okay, again, Tennessee does a whole lot of this. We also have the hitch on that left side. So got some options here, but really you're going to be going to that right side. That looks like that's another RPO. This one speaks for itself. The playmakers have to make plays. I'm perfectly fine with that. Now on this one, what we're going to see is on this left side, that's Brew. So Brew has like a post and go. This is a double move on a 1st and 10. There's some other routes here, but the play is designed to go to Brew. All right, so let's keep that in mind. Okay. And also, I want for y'all to pay attention to how the different looks are on defense. Actually, let me go right back because I accidentally skipped that and I didn't mean to. So we are going to go back and I'm going to show you. All right, so boom. This is what we're getting here. So this is going to be more, kind of like one-on-one coverage on the outside, because looking at the box, Arkansas is showing us a 7-man pressure, but they're only going to bring 5. So Tennessee does have 8 people in to block. So we've got enough people there. Everything should be cleaned up and taken care of. Now, this is max protection so that we can hit this double move. We're trying to, hit a big play here. So boom. At this spot, you can see that Brew's not even all the way into his route. He's just in the first part of it where he's making that first break. He still has to get up the field, and it looks like he might have some room. There is a safety that's kind of creeping over, so it could be a tougher pass. Nico's watching it, okay? He is kind of staring that down, but at the same time, he kind of has to because the pressure is starting to get to him, and you can see here, boom, he has nowhere to go. He doesn't have enough time to get that pass off, but that was a decent play. Again, it was all vertical stuff, but I at least like the simple fact that we threw like a little double move in there. So this is going to be another wide receiver quick screen. Looks like it's operating off of an RPO. Like I said, we're going to do a ton of this. All right, this is a 1st and 10. So we can see how this looks. You're going to see that, deep look, right? They're showing deep. Then on the snap, everyone's coming up. And that ball was thrown low. It was also thrown from that wide hash, from that opposite hash we talked a lot about with Merck. We see him throwing those quick screens a lot from the short side. Nico's able to throw it from the wide side. Again, the pass was a little bit low. It's not about Nico. It's just about looking at the skill sets that the quarterbacks would need to operate inside of this offense. So now what we have, just straight up vertical stuff. We have one that's going vertical deep, and everything else is all comebacks, right? So this is a 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. This is you can make this work. Every play doesn't have to have some crazy route combinations, but it definitely helps. It's very helpful. It's a lot more difficult to complete the passes whenever it's just straight up and down like this. It is a lot more difficult. So right here, boom, we're going through everything, and guess what? No one's open. Okay, so let me get to the top. Boom. So this is at the top of Nico's drop. Now, you could look up here and say that this right here is the only player that looks like he might be open. Everybody else is definitely covered up. There's no question about that. It's not about the lack of processing. It's about the lack of options based off of the play call. Look at this. They're sitting on all of our routes. I've said this a million times. I think some people feel like I'm making it up. We're not making this up. We're telling you what we see. We're not trying to push narratives. We're showing you just straight up. So obviously he's not at the top of his route yet. So Nico has to take that sack. Okay. That's how that looks. Now, this one to me looks a little bit better just because it's not 100% vertical. We've got that kind of like bender route or like that over route coming from the slot right there. That will be holding stage number 19. And then number 5, Brew, is running a post behind it. The only problem with this is that there are no underneath options to this. So this is a 1st and 10. We don't have any underneath options to this. You can't just, like, you've got to be able to put everything all into one. You got to be able to mix things up. Obviously, we are going empty here. Well, actually, we do have an underneath option, and it's this screen. But that can't be the only underneath option. I think that that's really what the play was supposed to be. It's like, hey, if this quick screen to the running back coming out of the backfield, if that's not there, maybe you've got another option where someone comes open on one of those kind of like crossing patterns. But if it is covered up, you have nowhere to go. That's a 3-man rush again on a 3rd down. So they're dropping 8. Look at this. Here, Nico has nowhere to go. Like I said, people are sitting on all of our routes. This is my point. This is what I'm talking about, right? Like, it's not a lack of processing. Joe Milton, we could have looked at his stuff. It's the same thing. Some of it is going to be on the quarterbacks. They're never perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if they don't have any real options, where the hell are they supposed to go? So this one right here, we've got some vertical stuff. Then we've got that dig from the left side. What I actually like about this is with this end on the right side, that's kind of like underneath, right? So that one's quicker. So because we're running things off, we can run some quick stuff with it. So I like how this looks on a 3rd and 6. Okay. This is more of what you want to do. It can't be, it can't always just be option routes. And if the option routes aren't there, we don't have an offense. The offensive coordinator, like, it's on them. You've got to be able to draw some stuff up. If you can see that, hey, the option plays aren't working, you've got to be able to draw some stuff up that you know will work. Okay. It's chess, not checkers. All right. That's how football works. But so boom. At this point, right? We see that Nico, the pocket's definitely closing in on him. I could just say quarterback, so I don't have to keep on saying Nico. So you can see that the pocket is closing on the quarterback there, but able to make the throw because we've got a guy that is open based off of these routes. Okay, so this one I actually like this one. And now it's 3rd and 6. You want to try to get to those sticks, and we're just short of it, like just shy of it. I think that we might have ended up getting this 1st down here because we were very, very close. So this is the next one. Okay, this is a 2nd and 8. And what we're going to see here, this is a nice looking route combination. So on that left side, we've got a comeback route to the inside of that in the slot. That's Brew. He's going to run a post. Then on the right side, we've got a dig, and then we've got a comeback on the other side of that. So because we're spacing the field out with the routes and not just with, how we're lining up, we're going to find some openings. So boom, this is what I was just talking about, right? This is why it's chess and not checkers, because if you look right there, okay, we've got a guy that is open. He's open based off of the route combinations, based off of understanding, hey, the defense likes to do this whenever we line up this way. So let's run this route so that this other route's going to be open. This is what I mean with route combinations, okay? So this one actually looks good. And obviously, whenever you've got some wide open, receivers like that, it's a lot easier to, mix and match and hit those guys. So right here, I also like this one. We've got on that left side, we've got a deep out, then we've got a quick out underneath it, and then we've got a slant inside of the slot on the right side with the dig. The only thing that I'll say about this is that obviously, if both of those underneath routes are kind of covered up, it's going to take these types of routes on the outsides here, that out and that in, it's going to take them a little bit longer to actually come open. So in this situation, I would like to see Tennessee add something that's more vertical to this, just because we've got the underneath stuff there and the vertical should be able to spread it out. See what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mind maybe seeing some sort of a deep comeback on the right side there, right? Just to kind of keep that spacing, or, just something like that. That's what I would like to see a lot more of in 2025. And that's what I saw more of in our orange and white game. It's what we saw in 2022. But here, boom, you can see, man. So Nico quarterback has the time here, right? So they're bringing some late pressure. But because, and it actually looks like that pressure I don't know if it's going to get picked up or not, but because we're running some quicker stuff, we're actually running some outbreaking routes that are relatively short. We're able to hit this, okay? Like, we're able to hit this all day long. You just got to give people the opportunities. All right, so here, I actually like this one too. Definitely not great. Most of the stuff is definitely going to be vertical type stuff. But I like the simple fact that on the left side, what you're going to see is a switch route. So it's a switch route with a hitch and then with just straight go. But that's better than it just being, hey, it's a hitch and it's a go, and there's no switch there. On the right side, we have double digs, which I don't absolutely love. I just, again, there's no real there's nothing that's really underneath. I would like to see maybe a running back work out to the flats on that dig side, something like that, just to try to spread the field out more, gives us a lot more options. So on this one, we can see that the pocket is kind of closing in on Nico. You've got a player right there that, he could have been open, but like we're saying here, the pocket is definitely closing up. So it's tough to step into that, but you can step up into it. And then I would also maybe point to this guy right here. I mean, this is a possibility that he could be open, but, it's that would be tough. And the reason that I'm saying that would be tough is because that's such a long pass. Obviously, you're seeing that the cornerback is kind of sitting on that one. So this is why I don't absolutely love these double digs. It's such a difficult pass. Yeah, I think that it overcomplicates things. If you want to run one dig and then you see, we try to go out there and make something happen here, right? Like we're going to get out of the pocket because that really should have been a sack, but at least we can get it off. But I don't necessarily like running two digs on the same side. One of those routes needs to be underneath or something needs to be underneath it. Now, this is mind blowing to me. This is a 3rd and 3. Look at the routes. It's a 3rd and freaking 3. Everything is vertical. Now, why would you do this on a 3rd and 3 unless you're going to do like a quarterback draw? I have absolutely no idea. But that's what we're doing, and you're going to see the difference from how a 3rd and short looks with 2022. And obviously, there's nowhere to really go here. The pocket's kind of closing up, but yeah, I mean everything is covered up here. I will say that right here, okay. There is an opportunity maybe that we could have hit on this. That would have been a very, very tough throw, especially with people in your face. That's an NFL throw. So looks like the quarterback tries to throw this back shoulder. I think that the quarterback also maybe could have tried to throw it, maybe up the field in about that area, right? That would, again, very, very difficult throw. But this is what we're working with. On a 3rd and 3, there's no reason that you should be able to run some sort of a bootleg all day long on a 3rd and short, and it's going to be there. Like I'd say over 90% of the time. That's really hard to stop, especially with a quarterback that can move. So this is another one right here. This is a 3rd and long. So look at the route combinations. Everything is pretty much vertical, right? We do have that dig coming from the left side, but for me, that's pretty much vertical. But it's a 3rd and really, really long. All right. And so you can understand why maybe you try to run some comebacks in this situation. But you could also understand maybe if the route combinations looked a little bit better. Okay. So obviously, no one's open, right? No one's open, and the quarterback tries to make a little something happen here. I mean, look, boom, like you can just see. Look at the field. Like I'm stopping it here so that you can see what option do you choose? Which one? Who's open enough that you say I feel comfortable throwing this? So the only thing that I could maybe look at is right here. Really tough throw from where we're at. Quarterback starter on this left hash. That's a long throw. You have to have a cannon. This is what I was talking about. You have to be like a juggernaut to be able to make these types of plays. So moving out to the right would make the most sense, and then try to find somebody kind of creeping open. So we actually almost got this 3rd down. But that's what I mean. You need a guy that's a baller, especially in a system, if it's going to be operated the way that we ran it last season. So this is going to be the last play of the first half versus Arkansas. So this is the last 2024 play that we're going to look at. So this is heading into the half. It's 4th and 7. You can see on that left side, we've got a smash, and then we've got 2 outs, okay, underneath that. Really tough. Those are NFL throws all day long. Any 3 of those, that's an NFL window that you have to fit that football into. All right, and then on the right side, we've just got a vertical route. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what we had to work with. It's a lot of straight up and down stuff. It's a lot of very, very difficult throws. Look at the look that the defense is giving us. Again, boom. I mean, they're pretty much sitting on everything, right? I mean, there are no real windows. You might look at this guy here and say, well, looks like he is open. Man, that is a very tough throw. That's tough just because you've got guys here, okay? You've got him there, and you've also got him, this guy in this area. He can come off of where he's at. So and obviously pressure kind of closes in as well. Try to move over to the right and try to make a daggone play. You know what I'm saying? So that's how things looked in 2024. Now we're going to move on to Tennessee versus LSU in 2022. And the reason that I chose this game versus LSU is just because the Arkansas game was in week 6 of 2024. This game was also in week 6. And there were, I want to say maybe it was 20-something plays, 24, 25 first half passing plays for Tennessee's offense. I only did the first 16. I didn't skip anything. I wanted it to be exactly like what we looked at in 2024. So this is the first play that we're going to be looking at. It already, to me, looks a whole lot better. This is the 1st and 10. That gray area is actually the end zone. So what I love is looking at that left side. You've got a slot fade with a slant right behind it. That route is pretty much money. Somebody's going to be open. It's either that slant or it's that slot fade. very difficult to stop. We run this several times, and you can also see that we've got on this one a dig from that right slot with the comeback. We talked about that with the 2024 film, right? That I don't like the double dig. Something needs to be coming back. I wouldn't do two going kind of like to the same spot. So this already looks a lot better, okay, just based off of that. So also you can tell that it's a much different look that LSU is given to Tennessee in 2022. But this is really how most defenses play Tennessee. They played us more honest, as opposed to what we just saw in 2024. So this is just regular two high safety look. The safety that's closest to the bottom of this screen, he's already showing that he's coming down into the box. So you know this is some type of a one high look. So it makes the pictures and the field a lot easier for us to read and see. And obviously we can be on time with that because of the route combinations. You have the spacing for people to get open. So right here, this is going to be a quick screen. Okay. It's going to that right side. This is a 1st and 10. So, this is, again, you're going to see a lot of quick screens in Tennessee's offense. I also love that pre-snap movement. So we got the motion. You get one of your blockers with a full head of steam, able to go and, make something happen with that block. So this next one, this is a 1st and 10. All right, this is another screen, but this one is going to come from the running back. I think that the running back's going to go out of the backfield. Like we said, a lot more pre-snap movement here, which obviously helps out a team tremendously. So you see how the defense has to move with that. So it's very, very easy. That's just kind of like a running play, but you're able to get the ball out in space. Love to see that. It's very simple. That's something that Tennessee can still do. I think that we did that a pretty good amount in 2024. So it's not a huge deal. But this is, looking at this, number one, look at the splits on that left side. You've got the wide receiver, Brew, number 15. He's right on top of that's Jalen Hyatt, lined up right off of the line of scrimmage, almost lined up as like a slot. This is a switch route, going fade, going dig. Love that. Now, the one thing that I will say here is that there's not enough underneath stuff. I would anticipate that in 2025, we'll see more underneath stuff coming off of this. So it's not all just vertical. But in 2022, the offense was still new to the SEC. It's a lot easier to run some of this stuff. I think that we, got greedy in a lot of situations because people didn't know what to do. So pre-snap movement, gotta love that. All right, play action. Obviously, we didn't have the time. People aren't coming open, but why aren't they coming open? It's because, like I just said, we don't really have anything underneath it. Now, the one thing that I will kind of point to here is that in this area, you could have an opening. Okay, this is possible if you have enough time. I think that in 2022, the offensive line probably wasn't as good from top to bottom as 2024. I would say that it wasn't as talented, but they might have actually played a little bit better in some spurts than 2024 did. Either way, 2025 should be a lot better. So a quarterback could make that throw with some more time and with a pretty strong arm. It's a pretty tight window. So this right here, this is going to be another quick screen going to the left side. All right. And this is a 2nd and 6. Okay. So we got the motion. You're seeing a whole lot of pre-snap movement. Gotta love it. Boom. Okay, we get people moving. Everything really makes sense, and that's Brew. This is something else. You need guys that are dadgum playmakers here, right? Brew had a little bit more pop this season than he did in 2024. You know what I mean? But just because he's coming off the injury, he also had gained some weight. So right here, this is a 1st and 10. You're gonna see double hitches on that left side. You've got a post on the right side, and then on the outside, you've got a fade. So this isn't a terrible route combination. Now, sometimes, like I said, you will have to run some more vertical stuff. You got to try to keep the defenses honest. So I think this is still better routes just because there is some sort of a combination to it. It's not just, hey, if these hitches aren't there, it's hitches everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, we've got some other options. So here, obviously, we're able to operate that one. That's pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Throw the football. Now, look, love this. 1st and 10. We got a deep crosser coming from that right slot. On that left side, you've got a fade. And then on the right outside, you've got a post. Love that, okay? Just because, again, you're doing some different things. But what don't we see here? Any underneath stuff. That's the one part that I think is going to get added to Tennessee's game. So here, we're seeing that we're trying to go to the end zone. Obviously, the ball is a little bit short. Really, we weren't really open there either. This is a 3rd and 8, okay? We got the hitch on that left side. On the right side, on the inside slot, we've got kind of like a little hook route. And then we've got like a deep out or something with that other slot. And then we've got a hitch. So I like this too. This is 3rd and 8. It's pretty good route combinations. The only thing that I would add to this would be some type of, something that kind of crosses. I do like that we get our wide receivers moving, get them in motion, and we try to go deep on this. So this was probably some sort of an option, right? So this was probably some sort of an option, and I guess we felt like, and really, I mean, we should have been able to hit on this. So look at this. I mean, there is some room up there. Hopefully y'all can see that. There is some room there, but you also could probably have thrown this. You know what I'm saying? Like that was there as well. But the most important thing that I'm trying to highlight here, y'all, is that we have some options. We have the options, and it looked like maybe the wide receiver has kind of throttled it down on that route. So here, this is a 1st and 10. We're going to have a slot fade to the boundary side, to the short side. We're going to have some motion that overloads that side to ensure that we're getting the look that we want. So let's see it here. Man, I think we've seen pre-snap movement on every single play. So boom. This is, now this is number one. I mean, it takes a lot of speed to be able to just run past somebody like this. But then number two, that's a dadgum dot. Okay, that is a beautiful pass. And Hendon Hooker, he does throw a beautiful deep ball. But this is something that, so whenever we're talking about some of these other quarterbacks, right, that you say, okay, well, their arm isn't the strongest. They could make these types of throws, these types of like touch throws that's more like timing throws, 1, 2, 3. I see that my guy's there. I got to throw it to a spot. If you can hit that spot, okay, if you can hit them in stride, if you have to throw the ball earlier or, whatever, we can work with that, okay? So now let's take a look at this play. This is a 2nd and 8. So we've got the comeback on that left side. Then we've got that deep crosser coming from that left slot. And then on the right side, we've got this fade, okay? So 2nd and 8. Looks like there will be some more pre-snap movement. Absolutely love that. Okay, actually, there wasn't any pre-snap movement, but there was some post-snap movement from that tight end that I did not highlight. So I like this because guess what? We actually have a guy. We're throwing it to this fade, and we actually have it. Now, why do we have it? Part of it is going to be because of the way that LSU played us, and I'm trying not to break down too much film here, y'all, but part of it is going to be because of the way that LSU played us. But the other part of it is because of the route combinations, because of the spacing of the field. Everything's not vertical, so now you can get that, one-on-one isolation down the field, and you can throw a vertical. Right here, we have 4 hitches. Like I said, you're going to run this type of stuff sometimes. I think that this is off of an RPO. Tennessee does this a lot, within our RPO game. Looks like that probably was an RPO. Could have just been play action, but simple, right? Just fake it here, throw it there, boom, should be there, all the time. Now look at this. Gotta love it. This is absolutely beautiful. On that right side, on a 3rd and 4. So we talked about before in 2024, there's a whole lot of force in that, but in 2024, we talked about what that route combination looked like on a 3rd and 3. It was all verts. Look at the difference here. We've got slot fade on this right side with a dadgum slant right behind it. Like we said, someone's typically open with that. Left side, we've got switch routes. Okay, so we're going vertical, and then we've got a post. This looks a lot better. This looks like this should be a winning play. Someone's probably going to come open on this. Let's see what happens. So, boom, what ends up happening is we don't pick up a daggone blitz. Okay, so we don't pick that blitz up, but then anybody come open. Actually, this is one that was missed, right? So we actually have a guy here. This is a 3rd and 4. Like I said, anytime that you see a slot fade with a slant, someone's going to be open. So I mean, like over 90% of the time, somebody will be open. But that's a good job there, just trying to make something happen with the pretty much busted play. I wouldn't call it a busted play, but we just didn't pick that blitz up, and we also missed out on that one little slant. So here, okay, this is a 4th and 2. This is some gadgetry stuff. So you're looking at the right side. What you're seeing is the slots running a quick out. Then you've got that smash with the outside guy. That's going to spread the defense out, right? So we're going to spread these guys out, okay, so that we can do some gadgetry stuff here. Y'all see, first off, you got the shift. Defense is moving. Let's get them moving. Now let's motion. Spread everything out. Open it up. And now look at these route combinations, and then look at what we do. Shuttle pass. So we ran this some early on in the 2024 season, but we kind of stopped doing it. People started to sit on it. And part of the reason is we didn't run it, nearly as well, like the way that we lined up and all that. It just wasn't the same. I think that if you're going to run those types of plays, you probably want to try to spread it out. Tennessee tried to run that in 12 personnel with the field kind of bunched up, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But either way, this is looks like another quick screen, right? That's going to the right side on a 1st and 10. Okay. So, boom, get it out there. The play's kind of blown up. That's going to happen some. Okay. That is going to happen sometimes. And of course, LSU thinks that that's a live ball, but it's not. The whistle was already blown. So I love this one. This is a 3rd and 10. If you look at that right side, you're going to see a drag. Then you're going to see that over route from the inside slot. You've got the dig. You've got the post. I like this, okay? 3rd and 10. Someone really should have popped open on this. You can also see how the blitz looks coming from LSU. All right, switch running back over to that right side. Things aren't necessarily picked up as well. Actually, I think that they picked it up pretty well. So with this, okay, actually, I think that LSU does a good job of kind of sitting on these routes. Now, there are a couple of people that are coming open right here. You know, this one's open. One of those routes is always going to be open. Whenever you're running crossing patterns like this, someone's going to be open, especially if you see a blitz coming. If it can get picked up, you're going to have some people up and down the field. And then this one right here, which is where we actually go, that one, that's a really tough one. You know, I think that this first one was probably more open, but y'all get my point. These are not, you know, it's not the not gonna say it's the easiest throw. It's not the most difficult throw. It's a throw that I would expect for quarterbacks to make on this level. Okay, most of them should be able to make it. So this is the last one right here. I want to say I think that this is the last one. This is a 1st and 10. You see that slot on the right side, running that deep over. You've got the post or the bang 8 outside of that. On the left side, we've got a go route, right? And then coming out of the backfield, we've got the running back kind of going out to the flats, and we've also got looks like the tight end is going to be going out to the flats as well. So let's see how this play looks. Okay. So boom. At this point, we do have a guy open. All right. We do have a man open. That one was just missed. So this is why, and again, this is a 1st and 10. This is why I love this type of an offense. It's kind of like a West Coast offense, but someone's pretty much going to be open. If you have enough mixing and matching and things are moving around, someone's going to end up being open. Okay. But, you know, like I said, we got kind of greedy. All right. So, you know, we get it. We get a little bit greedy, and we're going to try to go right here, which that's actually open too. You just got to kind of lay that football up and let your playmaker go and make that play. And I don't absolutely hate it. Like, there's something about me that loves a gunslinger at quarterback, but there's also something to be said about understanding when you can, you know, kind of check things down, which I think Hendo Cinco did a very, very good job with. But that's it for the film portion of what we're going to be looking at today. All right, y'all. Hopefully, y'all understood the point that I was trying to make with this whole film session and film breakdown. If you look at what we did in 2022, right? Like, we went through 16 plays just like we did in 2024. In 2022, of those 16 plays, I would say about 10 of them had some nice wrinkles to them, right? It wasn't just straight up and down vertical stuff. And that's not even adding in all the plays that had pre-snap movement. That's another portion of it. But if you go back to 2024, of the 16 plays that we looked at, 3, maybe 4 of them had some, you know, nice little wrinkles to them. It wasn't just straight up and down. And I'm being kind of generous whenever I say that. So my whole point here, y'all, is that teams played us differently in 2022 compared to 2024. And, you know, we have to get back to how the offense operated in 2022. Now, I don't think that we switched up the way that we ran our offense or called plays in 2024 because teams were necessarily playing us differently. I don't know exactly what it was, but the way that we ran the offense in 2022 and the way that teams played us in 2024, that offense would have absolutely destroyed what we saw in 2024, right? Just because there would have been so many more check down options. You can't play deep stuff all the time when, you know, and have guys that can catch the football and get up the field and run and make plays. I also think that part of it is because we, you know, maybe didn't have as much speed, maybe at wide receiver. Maybe speed's the wrong word. Maybe not as much wiggle at wide receiver as I feel like we're going to have in 2025. So that's another part of the reason I think that we should have a lot more optimism. But like I said, the offense looks a lot better whenever you mix things up. It's not so straight up and down. And what we saw in 2022 should probably be about the base of 2025, because in the orange and white game, that was, you know, I saw the 2022 offense, but we know that we haven't seen pistol yet. You know, we haven't seen the real Boo Carter packages and things like that. There's going to be some gadgets added to it. So the whole point here is that Tennessee's offense, you know, it doesn't need this juggernaut playing a quarterback. You can see that we can do different things. All right. It just was run differently in 2024 for whatever reason. But I think that whoever we roll with, whether it's a Merck or, you know, whoever it is, I think that we should be fine. Let's just go and get somebody that has the confidence to make the throws, to lead the team, and to be a baller. And I think that we should be fine. So that's it for my thoughts. Please share yours with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Peace.